Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special Super Bowl Sunday edition of the Co-op Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and today I'm joined by Mr. Gary A. Swaby. How's it going, Gary?
It's going good, man. Oh yeah, I heard it's the Super Bowl Sunday and it's in your town, right? In Atlanta.
Oh yeah, and because there's a new job that just started. It's actually right near that stadium, so I got a chance to see firsthand just how ridiculous the traffic and everything is all over Atlanta, not just that area, but all over the city. It's pretty crazy this whole weekend. So we'll see what happens. Patriots and Rams. Everybody knows I'm from Boston, but I have said on multiple occasions that I would love to see another team represented in the Super Bowl because I'm tired of seeing the same teams there. I also say the same for the NBA, so hopefully that changes in due time. But should be a fun game later on today. But how's everything going with you, Gary, over in UK?
Yeah, everything's going good. We had a bit of snow this week. I know things were bad over there too in the States, in some states and stuff. But yeah, I'm okay overall, I had a few aches and pains, but I'm feeling okay right now, so let's get
That's
going.
good. Yes, and just to quickly mention, yeah, the weather was bad, and not as bad here in Atlanta, but Atlanta is ridiculous because it was 20 degrees Wednesday of this week. Yesterday, I kid you not, 70 degrees outside, and today it's about 55, 60 degrees. So this weather is all over the place. Definitely
Wow.
got to be careful because you get sick messing around with this weather like this.
Yeah,
But
it's worse like when it gets hot and cold, like when it gets warm and then cold and then warm and then cold. Like that's when you get really sick. So, um,
oh yeah,
yeah,
got to be careful. But so as for this week's show, there are a couple of stories we're going to get into. A couple of three big stories. One in particular that I haven't seen much about, which we will get into later. But before we do that, we're going to let you all know what we have been playing. So, Gary, I'm going to let you start us off and let us know what you've been playing.
oh, whoa, okay, your internet got a bit choppy there at the end, but yeah,
Oh,
as for what I've been playing, so of course I've been playing Overwatch. We all know this already, so that's no surprise. And there's actually a new map coming that I didn't get to try out yet because it's only on the test server at the moment. But there is a Paris map, and recently there's been a lot of popularity with the Paris Overwatch scene because there's a huge esports star from there called Soon. And the Overwatch League is coming back, and Paris is actually having its own team in the Overwatch League, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, they have a Paris map, and Paris is where Widowmaker is from as well. So there's
hmm.
actually a story attached to this map, and I'm hoping that when they bring out the the Retribution event, which usually comes out around April, I'm hoping that they have some sort of storyline tied to Widowmaker and when she killed her husband, because that's like a big part of her personal lore. Um, so yeah, that's cool. They're always adding new things to Overwatch. Still no story mode, so I know Richard ain't interested in the game, um, but yeah, there's still new stuff coming for Overwatch, so that's good. Besides that, I played the Anthem demo once again because, of course, they had the what is it called, the public demo weekend, I guess, where it was open to everyone. Um, and I have to say, this weekend it ran a lot smoother. I didn't have like any issues like I had last week. I was able to get in the games, and it ran smooth. There was no crashing or anything like that. So I actually managed to, complete a few missions. I unlocked some new javelins. I made some like customizations. I unlocked some guns and equipment. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, if you like your looter shooters, this is like an ideal game because it's like Destiny mixed with Mass Effect Andromeda, sorry, gameplay. And a lot of people also compare it to Warframe. Some people say it's Destiny and Warframe fused together. So I mean, if that's appealing to you, then I think this is going to be a really fun game. I can see how it will be very entertaining to play with your friends because I played with some randoms, but even just playing with randoms was pretty interesting. Because just coordinating together and taking out all these OP enemies and stuff like that, like it adds a layer of excitement to it. One thing I will say though is that I hope they don't go over the top with the puzzles because there was one mission that had like a puzzle at the end, and the thing is when you're playing online, it's like you don't want something to slow down the momentum too much, and it's like a puzzle can really slow down the momentum and the fun of playing with people. Now I get that you should be able to have like a you know an engaging moment with your teammates if there's a puzzle, and you can try and figure it out together and things like that. But at the same time, if you're playing with randoms, it's like you can easily like lose patience, like if it's taken too long to finish a puzzle. And I think we ended up googling to figure out how to solve the puzzle, and that sort of thing will slow down the action completely. Like if you have to go out of the game, Google, and then figure out how to beat a puzzle. Like I think it's acceptable in a game like Uncharted or something that's like single player because it's like you have all the time in the world to figure it out. But when you're all like in a group with randoms or your friends or whatever, it's like you don't want to slow down the action. You just want to keep going, having fun. So I'm a bit wary about that. I hope they don't do that too much. The puzzle wasn't that complicated once you know what you're supposed to do, but figuring it out at first can be a bit like, what the hell? So I just hope they manage that properly in the final game and don't go overboard with it. But besides that, it seems like it's going to be a really fun game. Now, I'm just hoping that EA doesn't mess this up because it has potential. Like, I just hope they don't do something to completely ruin the game, or just ruin the thrill of the game. Um,
Um,
and yeah,
well, I will say that because EA is involved, we always have to have some caution. So we'll see what happens. Uh, I hope that it does turn out well because I fully intend to play it. I just did not get a chance to try out the demo. Obviously last week I didn't get a chance to play it because there was issues with the VIP demo on every platform. It was resolved on PS4 and PC. But for me, when I tried to get it on Xbox One, it wasn't working. And then by the time it was fixed, which I believe was halfway into Saturday, um, I mean, I had been playing Resident Evil 2, so I spent all my time with Resident Evil 2. Didn't really get back to that. So hopefully, I didn't get a chance to play it. I believe the demo was over today for Anthem, correct?
yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so if I get a chance to play it after we record the show, maybe I will say something on the next week. But other than that, I'm probably just going to wait until um, the game actually releases later this month, and then you have a chance to try it out. But we'll see. It's to be determined. I have heard pretty positive things about it. I know before we joked that this game feels like it's a Destiny or whatever. I mean, I did feel that way when I heard the music. When I saw the what's the splash screen for Anthem in the beginning, and I heard that music, I said, that music reminds me of Destiny, but
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
mean,
seen the.
let's keep it real. It really is a Destiny knockoff. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, it really is. Like I'm not in any way saying that this game is original because it's really not. They literally just said, "Oh, let's make a game like Destiny and Warframe," and they did it. And that's really what the game is. But I will say that if that's what you want. Because the thing is, like, a lot of people loved the first Destiny, and then a lot of people feel like the second Destiny didn't live up to it. So it's like, if you're looking for that Destiny experience, then this might be a game for you, even though it's copying what Destiny did. Like, this might be the spiritual successor in a way, because, like, you know it's carrying on tradition, I guess, but it's definitely not original at all. It's the presentation of this is definitely a lot like Destiny, like, even down to the enemies and the way the UI is, and the way the color system works, and shields and barriers and things like that. Like, it all looks like Destiny.
Okay. So, well, but we can at least come to the consensus, I guess, that it is better than Andromeda so far. Correct?
I mean, yeah, like, to be honest, like, the actual gameplay and the actual, like, action of Andromeda was the best part of it. Because the
Okay.
story was terrible, animation was terrible, cutscenes terrible. All that stuff was terrible, but the actual action was good, and this game is basically that style of action. So it's taken the best part of Andromeda. So
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I thought Ram said that he very much enjoyed Andromeda. So I can't wait to hear what he has to say about Anthem.
oh yeah, Rams loved Andromeda. He said it's his favorite.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that. Him and Mr. Max Muller, they were both huge fans of Mass Effect Andromeda. So I can't wait to hear what they have to say about Anthem. And if they see this later, we'll definitely have a talk. But that's good. That's good. Sounds good. So as for what I've been playing, I really only have been playing two games since last week. Um, I did go back to Resident Evil 2 remake. Still very much enjoying that game. Um, I did see that it's been selling pretty well. At least for the first week, the sales were great. And that I know that Capcom is now considering doing a Resident Evil remake for Resident Evil 3. Um, of course, that is dependent on whether or not the fans demand it and they want it. It's not going to be something that's going to take a quick amount of time, because I know there was also news that leaked out about Resident Evil 8 and some stuff that you can expect within that game. But this stuff isn't coming for a while. Definitely not this generation, because we already know the next gen is literally right around the corner. So that's fine. But Resident Evil 2 is a good game. I mean, it does have a few. I have seen some videos online of some of the glitches in the game. I haven't encountered any of those glitches yet for some reason. I am playing on the Xbox One X. Um, that really doesn't make a difference, I don't think. But I haven't encountered any issues yet, so I don't know what the complaints are with the glitches. I have seen the videos though, so there definitely are some glitches in the game. But from what I played so far, it's still a great experience. Again, I'm playing on the hardcore difficulty setting, so it's going to take a little bit longer for me to finish, because I don't get a chance to play every single day, at least not now that I'm starting this new job. So I don't have a lot of time to play games, but I'm definitely going to make time to play a lot of stuff coming out this month, because there's a ton of games coming out that I'm interested in. So Resident Evil 2, great. And then last night I got a chance to jump back into NBA 2K19 because, of course, a lot of things are going on in the NBA right now. Trade rumors, all this other stuff. So I wanted to dive back into this game just to see, what 2K has done, because they actually, Visual Concepts actually does something that most people don't do, and they keep the game up to date. So as for anyone that's following the NBA, you probably saw there was a trade recently involving the New York Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks. That trade has already been implemented into the game, so people are actually on the roster that they're supposed to be on. I really wish that, because 2K is working with Visual Concepts on this, they would do this for the WWE games. But you know what?
Hello. Uh-oh. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. I don't know if anyone out there can hear me. I don't know if this is messing up on my side or Rich's side. But let me see a thing.
Can you,
Hello?
can you hear me? Yes, can
Okay,
you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Yeah, I got you now. We can hear you.
Oh, so what happened there for a second? For those that are watching live and wondering what happened.
Oh, I don't know. Like you just cut out for me. I'm not sure if that was on my end or if it was on your end. But
Oh, well, hopefully we have to play that back and see. Uh-oh. Well, apologize for the technical difficulties. You can hear me now, though, right?
yeah, you hear you loud and clear right now.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Hopefully, if you notice any other issues, let me know. Um, but yeah, all I was saying is that I have been playing. In addition to Resident Evil, I was playing NBA 2K19 last night. And I saw that they have already made the updates because there was a recent trade in the NBA. All of that stuff is updated. So I'm just saying that um, I'm glad to see that they are making the updates to this game, but I am very confused once again why 2K doesn't implement this same policy with the WWE games because it's under the same brand, you know. So very disappointing, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's a conversation for WrestleCast. So, but yeah, NBA 2K still a lot of the issues that they had. It still has some issues, you know, a lot of the technical stuff that people have complained about in the past, but I still think it's a fun game. I enjoyed it, so looking forward to seeing, you know, what 2K does for the future of the series because I'm pretty sure there will be an announcement about the next game in the series. Maybe not for a couple of months, but it's definitely coming. We already know that this is a annual release every year, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do to make the next game different from this one. But outside of that, that's pretty much all that I've been playing this week. So definitely looking forward to talking about a lot of other things out this month. There are a lot of big titles coming out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So definitely stay tuned for our thoughts on those games because I'm pretty sure I will be playing a lot of those games as well as Gary. So stay tuned. Um, so on that note, we're going to move on to now some of the stories we wanted to cover this week. The first story involves one of Gary's favorite developers, Quantic Dreams. So, Gary,
Haha.
yes, they are your favorite. You know, you did say you enjoyed Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, correct?
Yeah, I mean when it came out, Heavy Rain was good. The first playthrough was phenomenal, but then like when I replayed it, I realized how I realized that like I saw a lot of plot holes basically second time I played it. But but yeah, like they make good narrative games. You know, I'll give them that. You know, they always try to push the boundaries in terms of visual presentation in video games and stuff. So I give them props for that. So basically, the news is that a Chinese investor firm called Netease has they brought a majority stock in Quantum Dream, and now this means that future games are also going to be multi-platform, so they're not going to be you know exclusive to PlayStation anymore. And I guess that's a big deal because we haven't really had many of well, we haven't had any of their recent games on Xbox console. So now you're gonna see David Cage games on Xbox in the future, if David Cage remains with them, I guess. But what do you think about that, Rich?
So, I think this is excellent news for everybody involved. Um, I will have to admit, let me just say this, and I hope people don't get mad when I say it. When they say multi-platform, I'm pretty sure that they are alluding to PC as well as Xbox, because I don't think that you'll ever see a Quantum Dream game on the Switch. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe they will find a way to make sure that their games are able to run on the Switch. I just know that there's a lot of third-party devs that still don't put their games out on Switch, even though there are some that are able to do that. Everybody can't do it. So until it is proven, we'll see. But I think this is excellent news for anyone that is a fan of their games. I didn't get a chance to play Heavy Rain. You know, I saw they re-released it, so I did download it because I believe it was on PS Plus. So I just haven't had a chance to play it. But I played the hell out of the last game they released, Detroit Become Human. I actually got the platinum in that game, and I played enough to it where I was able to see the different story plot points. And I have to say, that game was absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if I don't know how it would be compared to the others. And like I said, I didn't play Heavy Rain, I didn't play Beyond Two Souls, but in my opinion, right now, I'm pretty sure that this is the best game that they've ever made compared to those other two. Now, when I get a chance to play Heavy Rain, maybe I can have more constructive criticism. But yeah, Detroit Become Human, that was a fantastic game. A lot of people slept on that game last year, and they really should play it because, I mean, yeah, so it's not. Let me just say this: the story is not original at all, um, but the performances and the different things that happen with the characters is, it just excellent all around, and of course, it looked absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I think I'm very curious to see what happens with their games moving forward. Multi-platform is great. Xbox could definitely use a lot more games, even though they are working on building up their first-party lineup, as well as the third parties and stuff like that. So for them to be able to have a game by this developer, I think that's a big deal. Again, we do know that it takes them a long time to create these games. So this is, I would assume whatever the next game is they're working on, definitely not going to see it until next gen, and maybe I would say till possibly the middle or the end of next gen. But it definitely ain't coming anytime soon. It's at least maybe I say maybe 4 years or more away from now, if I had to make a guess.
Yeah, they take a long time to make their games, so it's definitely not coming out like anytime soon.
That's quite all right. But this is good news. As for whether or not David Cage stays with the company, I'm pretty sure he may stay on. I mean, I don't really know what else he wants to achieve in his career to be in charge of this. Maybe, I mean, I could see if they want to work on smaller, if he wants to work on smaller titles, because a lot of the games they work on are usually massive games, which is why they take a long time. So that's fine. But outside of that, I'm just looking forward to seeing what they do next. But again, I would tell anyone, if you have not played Detroit Become Human, you definitely need to at least try out the game, see whether or not it's something that you enjoy. And the last thing I will say about that is, I know that they had demos of this game because we played the demo of Detroit Become Human when we were at PSX the previous year. The demo doesn't really do justice because, I mean, you're only seeing one part of the story because there's three different androids in the story. So the demos, in my opinion, don't do it justice. You need to actually sit down and maybe play like an hour or two of this game. Then you can make a decision as to whether or not you want to continue. But yeah, the game is awesome. I definitely recommend everybody check it out if they haven't checked it out yet. So we'll see what Quantum Dream
Uh,
does next. But great stuff.
I still need to check out that game.
Oh
Hopefully,
yeah,
I will try to at some point, but who knows? Life is crazy, so
oh yeah. I mean, there's entirely too many games and not enough time to play every single game. So I mean, last year that was the case. This month is a perfect case for that because, man, February 15th is going to be a busy day. You have um, Crackdown 3 coming out for those that are interested. We have uh, Jump Force is coming out that same day, and then of course Far Cry New Dawn. And there's another game that I can't really think of, and then Metro.
Anthem. You can play Anthem if you're on EA Access or Premier or whatever it's
Oh,
called.
a whole week early than the other games.
Yeah,
Uh oh, uh oh.
that same week basically. I think it's February 15th. Yeah, February 15th. So
Okay,
some
so
people will be playing Anthem then.
how do the PlayStation 4 fans feel about this particular news?
What about? Oh, well, they must be upset. I don't know. I'm sure they must be questioning their purchases at this moment. I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
they might be a bit salty. But hey,
that's
we can address that chart later on. But yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we'll address that later. But just to get back on topic though, yeah, Quantum Dream. I wish them well with this new venture. I think going multi-platform is great because then they're not solely dependent on the sales of their title on one platform. I'm not saying that the sales for Detroit Become Human were bad because I don't know what the sales were because Sony doesn't really reveal all that information all the time. So, but I just think that it's a better investment for them to have it on multiple platforms so that they can get as much money as possible. So, looking forward to seeing what they do next, but it definitely ain't coming anytime soon.
Yeah, that's for sure. But but I mean, hey, good for them. I know there was some concerns because apparently this investor does a lot of mobile stuff, but I don't really see Quantic Dream as being mobile developers, so I don't think people need to really worry about that. Like I'm sure they're gonna stick to console development. So
It, well, here's a quick question: Isn't this the same developer that is working on that Blizzard game? The Diablo, the other Diablo mobile game, or is that like another company? I know it was a Chinese company. I don't know if this is the same company though.
I'm not actually sure. Let me see. That might be the case. Because
Because if it is,
I know it was a third party. Um,
yeah. Uh-oh. Well,
you could be right on that.
yeah. I don't know. I've heard some news about that a while back when the whole Blizzard thing happened. I don't know if this is the same company, but
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're right. It is them.
Oh, it is them. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, people don't have anything to worry about. I mean, Quantum Dream don't make mobile games, so I mean, all they did was buy a stake in it. But I mean, obviously, that investor can say, okay, now y'all need to make a mobile game. They could definitely say that, but I don't think if they see that Quantum Dream has had success for what they have already done, I think they're going to just let them continue doing what they've already done instead of trying to make all these necessary changes. But I mean, this does happen. Changes can happen, but we'll have to see how that's treated. But again, whatever they're working on next, this game is not coming out for a long time. I mean, maybe we'll see like Sony does not reveal whenever they're working on anything. They tried to they pulled back, talking about stuff too early. So whatever is being worked on next, I'm pretty sure Quantum Dream is not going to say anything. Sony's not going to say anything for a while. So we'll see.
We shall see
But
indeed.
yes,
So,
but any final thoughts on this topic before we move on to the next one?
um, nah, nah, nothing more on this topic. But I do think there's a couple quick topics to add in just before we get to the next couple topics that we have.
Okay.
So I mean, since we already brought it up, let's address this EA chart, like this Anthem chart, because
Yeah, let's
I
address
saw
that.
I saw a lot of people, they were very vocal about it. I saw like a ton of YouTube videos about it when it came out, and I was like, wow, this I was like, why is this such a big deal? I mean, don't people know EA's tactics by now? But then I saw the chart, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is something right here. Like I just can't believe we've come to this point in video games where it's like you're literally nickel and diming your people, like trying to force people to pay for all these extra services just to play the game a week early and get access to a demo. Like wow, like EA, they I understand why they're list like why they're thought of as the worst company, because of reasons like this. Like they made a whole chart just to let you see that you can't play Anthem before everyone else. Like like those poor PlayStation owners, like you said, Rich. Like wow, they must be very salty looking at that chart. But yeah, what was your thoughts when you saw that chart pop up online?
So the complaints about the VIP beta, or were they about the this EA Play stuff?
So it's both. I mean, the chart, it says like, if you pre-ordered, no matter which edition you pre-ordered, you get access to the demo on February 1st, which is the one that just went by.
Yeah,
Um, and then, it proceeds to break down like who gets early access. So there's two early access columns. There's one where you get 10 hours of play, and there's one where you get the full game. um, a week early on February 15th. And that's reserved only for uh, Origin Premier subscribers, which is the PC version. So if you're subscribed to that, and I can't remember how much that is, it's like, I think it might be like 30, £40 or something like that, like per year, which I guess isn't that bad. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me, but it's around that price range. And
Okay.
yeah, so those people get to play the full game a week early. I don't know if that, I don't know if that lasts the entire week. I assume it does because it says full game. But then there's also the 10-hour, early access, which is available for, Xbox users who have EA access, and Origin users who have access. Now, this is the confusing thing for me because they have they have two subscriptions on PC, I think. Like they have Access and they have Premiere. Like, and that makes no sense to me. It's like, why is there two different subscriptions? Like that's just crazy. Like it seems like their whole business model is about milking money from consumers. Like, and it's just pathetic. But but yeah, and then they have the final column, which is full game on February 22nd, and it shows, who gets access. So if you like the crazy thing about this chart is that you get to see that if you pre-ordered the game, you have to wait until release day. You don't get no early access, nothing. Like you just get the demo and you get the full game when it comes out. So it's like it's showing everybody what they're missing out on, and I guess that's part of the their the part of the reason they put this out, I guess, just to entice people to pay extra and give them more money just so they don't miss out on February 15th. Um, so I guess that's what it is. But it's in poor taste. It's poor business practice to kind of milk the consumer for more money. Because I bought the whatever the what's that version called, the Legion of Dawn. I bought that edition, and that was like £70 as it is. Like I feel like I should be getting some early access, paying that much money. So you know that's EA for you. But what's your thoughts on this whole thing? And did people blow out of proportion, or do you feel like EA is really tripping for this?
Well, so in regards to the early access stuff with the VIP demo, I think anyone and everybody that pre-ordered the game, they should have got the same early access at the exact same time. I know, like I mentioned earlier, when I had tried to play it when I had got the code for the early access, and I tried to play it on Xbox, it was at the time where they were having all those technical issues, and I was unable to get on there because of that. So I did see, however, though, again, there was a news story that came out that same time that PS4 and PC was resolved. So I had assumed that everybody already had access to it uh, for the same date for the VIP demo. But if they didn't, then EA messed up by not making that available to everybody. So that right there, people being angry about that, I think they have a right to be angry about it, especially if it wasn't available to everybody at the same time. And all of the stuff with the Premier program and the access, yeah, it's too much confusion. So EA needs to simplify that whole model if they're going to continue to have both of those services, I would say, available. As for the EA access, I'm going to say the EA Play, or no, EA Access. I'm thinking about that horrible show we went to last year at E3. But EA Access, the issue that I have with EA Access right now is that, of course, this is between Microsoft and EA. So everybody already knows, for the last several years, if you've had EA Access, you already know what the benefit is of having that on Xbox. So that's fine with me. The people who are complaining, or who have PlayStation and are not able to get access to this, I don't understand the complaints because they already know how EA Access works. This is a conversation that Sony could have easily had with Bioware and EA about, well, we want to get early access to this as well, and they could have made the decision to focus on that, but instead they aren't really focused on that. Sony right now, I know obviously there was news that came out that the PlayStation 4 sales, I believe right now it's at 94.2 million. So they're going to reach their 100 million mark very, very soon. But that news came out recently. And of course, the news that, a reminder that Days Gone is coming in April. That's great. We haven't received any other updates about what's going on with The Last of Us. I know the composer came out and said it's coming soon. Didn't release no other news, outside of that. Okay. So we know that that's still in development. We know Ghost of Tsushima is still in development. We know Death Stranding. All these games are supposedly coming, soon. I don't know if that means in 2019 or 2020. I would assume that we're going to definitely see at least two or three of them. I definitely don't think Death Stranding is coming this year though. But for whatever reason, obviously Sony is focused on the first party titles as it should be. So maybe they don't. Maybe they didn't want to focus on trying to do something with EA because I would assume that Microsoft has some type of deal with Bioware and EA for Anthem. I mean, I would assume that because we did see Anthem at the Xbox conference. So I mean, it's anybody's guess. But people who are mad that Anthem obviously is not in early access on PlayStation 4. I mean, they really shouldn't be surprised about that. Again, EA access on Xbox. The whole reason for Microsoft doing that deal in the first place is so that they can try to get some of these games on their platform available a little bit earlier to everybody else. But again, the game is only about 10 hours or so that you're able to play on EA Access, right? For this particular game. So they're not going to be able to play the full game, uh, you know, like the full game in its entirety. They're not going to be able to play all of that a whole week earlier, correct? Only just a couple of
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that's really unfair. Like, and not only is it a tease to just give people 10 hours of the game, but when you have people getting access to the full game a week early, it's like, why not just throw them a bone and give them the full game too? Like, I mean, they're already giving you tons of money, like monthly or yearly or whatever. Like,
yeah.
just throw them a bone, man. Like, there's too many columns on this chart. Like, it's crazy.
It is. That definitely is too much. But I mean, I can understand what you're saying. The people who pre-order, they should be able to play this early. Also, I do agree with that. But again, as you said, the EA's mentality in all of this: get as much money out of the consumers as possible. So I'm pretty sure they didn't think about any of this stuff in regards to PlayStation 4 when they made this, when they had already had this thing set up for EA Access. Um, yeah, it is good for those that played the VIP demo. They were able to get access to it at that point. But hey, I understand the frustrations, but it is what it is. Obviously, if you have PC or Xbox and you have the EA access or the other service you mentioned, Premiere, whatever, then they probably get the early access. But again, it's only for about 10 hours or so. So it's not like they're going to be playing the full game, all the way up and complete it by the time it comes out everywhere. No, they're only going to play a little bit of it, and that's it. But EA definitely can and should make changes to their policies in regards to this. But it is what it is right now. This is business. They already have these deals in place, so the higher ups or the stakeholders, they'll have to be the ones to step in and make these decisions if they see, oh, this is causing issues. They're the ones that control all of that. So whoever is in charge, that's between them. But I do feel bad for those that pre-ordered Anthem, especially if you pre-ordered Anthem and you wasn't able to get into the VIP demo at all the whole first weekend, and then you have to wait for a release. That absolutely sucks. But it is what it is, and EA definitely can improve this, but they have to want to improve it, and they have to actually follow through on that. They haven't done either, so I'm not surprised that there is some backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, EA just they're just always doing too much, and like even though I've already given them £70 for this game, I'm just so skeptical. I'm like, wow, like EA, are you really gonna mess this up? Like I feel like there's something else that's gonna go wrong here. I just hope this doesn't turn into another Battlefront. Like let's hope, because I saw another thing I saw earlier this week was they released like a screenshot that showed some of the cosmetics that you could purchase, and in that screenshot it showed the currency that you can buy to get some of this stuff, and it was like for one skin or one outfit or whatever for your javelin, it's like you have to pay $20 for it or something like that, like, which is crazy, like $20 for a skin, like. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping they don't go overboard and ruin this whole thing, but because the game is fun, it has a lot of potential. So I just hope EA just learns their lesson and just doesn't mess this up. But I
We'll
know
see
you
about that.
I know you saw I had to like, this whole thing was funny to me all week. Like I was just on Twitter reading stuff and just like laughing. So I had to like, the troll that I am, I had to make a meme out of this, and like, Final Fantasy is my favorite thing. So I came up with this meme. I'm showing it on the stream right now. So if you guys have seen the video version, you can see it. Um, I just wanted to shed some light on this real quick, just real quick. But when I put this out, I immediately regretted it, because what I should have did in that last row where it says fans who hated Final Fantasy 13, I should have made it so those people can't play Final Fantasy 7 remake, because those guys are haters. Um, and people are always coming at me on Twitter telling me 13 wasn't good, and this is a constant debate that I get in. But 13 was great. Like, go back, everyone, go back and play that game, and you'll realize. Trust me. But yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick.
And let me just say this: I did find the chart, very entertaining. But I just want to say right now, if there's anyone out there that thinks that Final Fantasy VII remake is coming anytime soon, I would like to ask them what are they smoking, because there's no way in hell that that game is coming anytime soon. Maybe we'll see it next generation. Definitely not going to see it this generation.
Oh yeah,
You
that
know,
that's why on the chart I put 2025. That's probably when we're gonna see it. Like I think that's accurate.
yeah. So I guess we can, if we want to make a guesstimate. I would like to say I hope that this is not going to be the next Kingdom Hearts 3, where it takes about 13 years for the game to come out. But it's going to definitely take a while, because if they, I didn't see that original report when they said when they restarted it. That was last year. I don't remember at what point in the year it was when they made that, when that news came out. But obviously, this game, maybe 3 to 4, maybe 5 years. Maybe five is pushing it, but I say at least 4 years. You'll see it. So definitely next generation, but no time at all, no time soon. So hopefully it turns out good though. I know that I don't know if the plan is still to make this an episodic game, or if they're going to make the full game. If it's an episodic game, then yeah, it's going to take even longer. But I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm.
To be determined. To be determined.
It's gonna be a while, but for now, at least we have Kingdom Hearts. But real quick, just another topic before we get into our schedule again. I also like, there's been, I think this is official now, but there's going to be a Titanfall battle royale game that's coming out by EA. I think it's going to be one of those random things that just come out. Like, I guess people will just be able to go and download it. I'm not sure if it's free to play. I'm assuming it might be something like that. If they haven't, announced this way ahead of time. Um, so this is apparently coming out like as early as tomorrow, maybe, is what I'm hearing. And the latest news story I read said that this Titanfall Battle Royale game doesn't have any Titans in it. So, so
so
I
so
mean,
so so who? Okay, so wait a second. So who are the what? Is it just the characters from the actual game, like the humans?
yeah, I guess it's
Um,
just a bunch of pilots running around killing each other. I guess that's it.
Okay, so in regards to that news, I think there is going to be a formal announcement tomorrow. So I guess we're going to have to revisit that and see what exactly this game is. I know everybody is trying to get in with this battle royale craze right now, so there definitely are going to be people that will definitely play the game, see what it has to offer. But that's kind of crazy if it has no Titans in it. I need to see what that's all about because it just doesn't make any kind of sense. This is definitely a big year for Respawn because they have this other game. I believe the Star Wars game they're working on, that's supposed to be coming out this fall. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to be handled, especially because we know how EA treated that last Star Wars game that we will never see, we'll never see, period. So there's a lot of pressure on Respawn. And then, of course, Titanfall 3 is still a thing. I have no idea when that's coming out. That's in development also. But that Star Wars game is coming out because I remember they talked about that last year at one of the awards. No, yeah, at the EA show, they said, "Oh yeah, we have a game coming out next fall." So I'm very curious to see what happens with that game now because they have not done right with that Star Wars license. So stay tuned for that. But I'll have to look into this Titanfall battle royale game because I did see the little bit of news on it, but they have to show a lot more. So tomorrow is going to be interesting. But if no Titans are in it, then man, there's going to be some backlash they get from some fans about that.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at this as another money making scheme for them. Like EA, they're basically like scam artists now. Like they're professional scam artists. They like everything they do is designed to take money out of your pocket. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a free to play game riddled with microtransactions and boosters and all sorts of stuff like that. So but I think it's kind of late to get into the battle royale party. I think that whole thing is. I think that whole wave has peaked already. And like I said at the very first show of the year, I believe it was. I think the battle royale formula is going to be on a decline this year as things move on. So they, I don't know, they might be a step behind with this one, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. That's crazy. All right, so those are some good topics. Is there any other topics you wanted to address before we get on to the next one?
Um, I think that's it. We can just get back into the schedule.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about GameStop real quick because there's a lot of stuff happening with GameStop. And obviously, for those that don't care about GameStop, they may not really care about this news, but I guess it is at least something worth mentioning. So I know that there was, there were rumors since last year that there was somebody interested in buying GameStop, that they were going to be, obviously be going out of business. Obviously their business right now, as it states, it appears to me that they definitely are going to be out of business. Just from seeing how they have been operating for the last several years. And then, of course, the move to digital. I know that now GameStop is trying to do digital game sales as well. Because when I went to go pick up Red Dead Redemption 2, uh, I was able to purchase that a digital copy or digital code instead of the physical as well. So basically, with their trade-in policy, people know we made jokes about that in the past. You never get the money's worth for your titles. That still remains true. So a lot of people are turning away from that. So basically, to bring everybody up to speed of what's going on with GameStop now, it came out recently that their plans to sell the company have now changed. The buyer who was interested, they have declined that whole process. So I guess that they're just going to ride it out until they eventually go out of business. I guess I have no idea what's going to happen with this, but you had some things you definitely wanted to say on this, Gary. So the floor is now yours.
Yeah, I mean, being that I'm from the UK, I don't know too much of the GameStop buying experience. We have something called Game over here, which is our equivalent of GameStop, but But I know that GameStop for a very long time has been, a staple in the games industry. It's where people go to get their games. They were very big throughout the whole PS3, Xbox 360 era. Um, and recently, as things have gone more digital, I know that they've struggled to change their model to adapt and everything. And nowadays, everything I see about GameStop is usually in a negative light. Um, and I pay attention to news stories like this because I'm always interested in seeing how these kind of businesses are going to try and adapt. Because one of the biggest failures is Blockbuster when they went out of business, because it's like they failed to adapt, they failed to see where the market was going. And actually, Netflix met with Blockbuster to offer, their platform to them initially, and Blockbuster laughed them out the door. And then Netflix made Netflix, and then look what we have now. So if Blockbuster would have seen the future back then, and took on that whole Netflix wave, then who knows, they could have still been here. So seeing this GameStop story is like, what, like, because the gaming industry is different. Like, it's like people are buying games heavily. It's just that we people are buying them digitally now, like on demand. um and it's a struggle for retail stores like this who just focus on selling games, because it's like, what can you really offer people that they're not already getting online? Like, a lot of times people are getting games cheaper online. um so it's like, what can you really do? And one of the things that Game in the UK has done is they've actually set up esport spaces within their shop. I don't know if GameStop has done this for you guys, but at Game you can go in and it's like they have like a LAN set up where it's like loads of different computers, like PlayStations, Xbox, PC, whatever. Like, and you can pay to just go and play games, or you can play Fortnite in a group, like an esports kind of setup or something like that. And I think that is what these kinds of companies should focus on doing. They should focus more on an experience and a lifestyle kind of thing now, because people watch a lot of Twitch and things like that. So wouldn't it be cool if there was a place you could go to that is essentially like, maybe they could even implement a Twitch setup into it, where it's like you can come here and you can stream from here. Like, like you just log into your stream and then you load up your games, and then you can stream from inside the store, and you just rent it for a certain amount. You rent the space for a certain amount, per session or something like that. Or you can just have, esports tournaments and things like that. So I think they need to get smart about, these sort of things, and realize where the money is shifting in gaming and how they can be a part of it. But it seems like, things are currently very bad for them. They had a potential buyer and that didn't work out. Like, what exactly happened, Rich? Did they refuse to sell to the buyer, or did the buyer just drop out? Like, did they just decide to not buy them or something?
All right, so I had to switch cameras because I saw that the video kept freezing. Hopefully, you can still hear me clear.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, I hear you.
okay, yeah, I don't. I mean, when I looked at the story initially, it looked like they dropped out of the sale. So they were the ones that said no, they declined.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
because they actually had two buyers at one point that were both interested in buying them. So I don't know what happened with that whole process, but that's why I assume that they're basically going to just ride it out into the sunset and just see whatever happens with the business is going to happen, because they do have Think Geek, that they do own some of that, so they definitely could have been using that merchandise to also push some sales. But I don't really know how this stuff is performing right now. In addition to whatever else they're doing, I know that I tend to get a lot more flyers now about more sales that they're trying to have. But I just don't really think they're doing really enough at this point to remain relevant, because you have stores like Best Buy, and of course Amazon, who now, obviously Best Buy has been doing this for a while, and then Amazon started doing it where they have a program in place where if you purchase a game, um, you'll get like a 20% off. If you are, well, obviously if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get 20% off. I don't know how long that's going to continue because I know they're trying to stop those programs now. But with Best Buy, the Gamers Club Unlocked, which is also ending. I mean, if you got a membership recently, I mean, I know they put an end to the program last year, but if you had signed up for a membership, then it's still active until it expires because you can sign up for like a 2-year membership. My membership doesn't expire until 2020, so I can still get a discount on any game that I purchase. So what I'm basically getting at is that there are other options out there to buy a game aside from GameStop. So I'm surprised GameStop is still around. I will be surprised if they are still around by the end of this year. But I mean, it all depends on whatever they do. But they're having those two buyers and then deciding to back out of the sale. That's not good for them. But who knows what the future holds for whatever that it is they have planned? Because I definitely don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here because, like, a lot of people have been foreshadowing the demise of GameStop for a long time, and whereas you can argue that they've been a bad company for a long time and that they deserve this or whatever, but at the same time, a lot of people work there. They have jobs there, and it's not good to see people lose their jobs. So hopefully they figure it out, or hopefully they figure something out. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely not good to for people to lose their jobs. That's always horrible news. So yeah, we'll have to just wait and see. But if I was working at GameStop, I was an employee. Uh, I'm not trying to, I mean, I can't really foretell the future, but I would definitely make a recommendation to start looking for other opportunities outside of GameStop because you just don't know what's going on with that company. It's an unstable situation right now, and depending on how horrible they are doing, you will start seeing some things happening this year. So we'll see. But I do wish anybody that is working there well. Definitely keep your options open. Don't wait for it to happen because it's going to be a lot harder to find an opportunity after all of this happens. So definitely do what you got to do sooner rather than later.
Indeed.
So, any other final things to say before we move on to the bigger, I would say the biggest topic of the week?
Nah, let's get to it.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this show, I don't really know. I haven't really seen too many people talking about this. I mean, I would assume that there's going to be other shows that are going to talk about it because it is a big deal. I know that during the Game Award show, we had a chance to see a couple of things that stood out about that show. One thing in particular that did stand out the most is the Epic Games Store making a push for all of these titles that are going to be on the store now. And obviously, at the time, I looked at this and I thought to myself, well, this is interesting that Epic is now coming into this space because we already have Steam, who has obviously been dominant. They've been like at the top of the list when it comes to thinking about who actually does this stuff, providing this type of service. So to know that Epic is now getting involved in Discord as well, it definitely is interesting. But of course, there was some news that happened this week that caught a lot of people off guard, and that was that there was basically an announcement that Metro Exodus, which is the next entry in the Metro series, it obviously is releasing later this month. February 22nd is, I believe, the release date, unless it's the 15th. It's one of those dates, but I believe it's the 22nd. But pretty much, Metro Exodus is coming out later this month. So we got an announcement that there's actually an agreement between Deep Silver and Epic Games to basically make this a timed PC exclusive only on the Epic Games game store. Now, in that news, they did state if someone already pre-ordered the game on Steam, then they will still get the game the exact same day as release. So and they'll get all their pre-order bonuses, so on and so forth. But the issue here is that now you can only purchase the game if you want to get it on PC. You can only do it now on the Epic Games Store, and a lot of people are very angry about this. Obviously, if you are someone who picked up the game, you pre-ordered it on Steam already, you're fine. You're still going to get the game. I'm glad they made that statement clear. But due to this particular decision, now there has been a whole bunch of backlash that people that now Epic basically Epic did receive some of this backlash, but mainly Deep Silver and the guys behind Metro received a hell of a lot of backlash. So I do have a few other story points that I want to bring into this topic about other things that I've heard about the story, but I want to go to you first, Gary, and get your initial reaction when this announcement was made, because literally as soon as I saw this announcement, I recall sending you a link to this, and you said, "Yep, this is when it begins." The issues between Steam and Epic Game Store. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the initial announcement when it happened?
Yeah, so, a lot of thoughts. I mean, I guess the initial thought that came through my mind was, okay, yeah, Epic is here to play ball now. They're here to disrupt Steam. And we spoke a bit about this before with regards to Discord and Epic. They're offering better royalties for game publishers. So they're trying to compete and disrupt Steam. Um, so yeah, that's the initial thought that came to mind. Like, okay, Epic is really playing ball right now, because we know that Fortnite has been a smash hit, and they have millions of people using their client just to play Fortnite. So this is their way of, you know, um, trying to expand on those numbers, or all the people who already have their client. They want to make more money from them, get them to buy other games, um, within their ecosystem. So it's a smart business practice, in terms of Epic, and I actually don't place the blame with Epic here because they're just doing business. I place a lot of the blame on the Metro developers. Now, I believe Deep Silver came out and said that they're not actually responsible for this because the developer who makes Metro is in charge of the IP, and they chose where they want to release it on Steam or whatever. What's their
Yep,
name again? The actual studio,
Kosh Media.
Koch Media. Yeah. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, they are the ones who made this decision, and my blame is with them because this was clearly, this wasn't in their original plan. Because if you would have came out and you would have said from the get go, look, we're partnering with Epic, and you can only get the game on the Epic client, that would have been completely fine because then people know ahead of time. But this is something that just came up, so clearly Epic, they offered Koch Media, they offered them a bag, like they gave them a straight up duffel bag full of cash, under the table, like, probably recently, and that was enough to make Koch Media change their minds. And people who already bought their game on Steam, pre-ordered and everything, fully paid for, now they were screwed. Like, or people who planned to buy it on Steam even. And the thing is with that is, first of all, things are getting out of hand on PC because there's so many different clients you have to keep up with now. But also, people like to just stay within Steam because Steam has all the features. It has your friends list. It has, you can stream on Steam. It has all the features that people enjoy and are comfortable with using. But this Epic client is completely new, and it doesn't have the same level of functionality. It doesn't have the same features that Steam has. It doesn't have, the library that Steam has. So people want to stay within Steam, and they were expecting to get this game in Steam. And I will say also that the first two Metro games were promoted heavily on Steam, like back when they came out, like they were plastered all over Steam. So Steam Valve, like, they showed a lot of love for those first two Metro games, and those were big hits on the PC. You know, the PC user base loved those games. So, like, doing this exclusive move with Epic, like, I can see why a lot of people are mad about it. Because, you know, you might not want to use the Epic client. You might not even play Fortnite. You might not ever want to install that client at all, you know? And now you have to if you want to play Metro Exodus. And this is a last minute thing. Like they didn't say this, you know, when they first announced the game. This is all new. Like first it was available on Steam, and now it's just not available on Steam. So I can see how people are upset about it, and the blame definitely lies with Koch Media for being, you know, money hungry and not sticking with their own morals and their own visions and things like that. They let Epic influence them with money, basically. So that's my take on it.
Oh yes, absolutely. And now to add on to what you have said about, yes, this definitely gives a bad perception to as far as the game is concerned, the developers, etc. There was a report that came out as little as I want to say about a day or two ago, stating that now people are starting to give negative reviews to the other Metro games on Steam. So that right there shows that obviously the Steam community that was looking forward to playing this game, by picking it up on Steam, they are very angry at the news about what happened with Epic Game Store. A lot of people are questioning, is this going to impact the series moving forward? I definitely think in terms of the PC release, yes. With the consoles, not so much because I mean, obviously you pick up the game on PS4 or Xbox One, that's fine. I know when we saw this game at the very first time, it was during Microsoft's conference, and everybody was asking, "What the hell is that game?" Even though we kind of knew towards the end of the trailer, this probably has to be Metro or something. Yeah, they showed this though at Microsoft conference. I believe it was the year before last. That was the first worldwide premiere of it. So consoles, it'll be totally fine. But as far as the game on PC, that definitely can impact, some of the sales moving forward. Not just Metro Exodus, but if they decide to do any other, entries in the series, yeah, there can be some type of impact from that without question. So I
Yeah,
did want. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. With regards to those reviews and stuff, like now I agree that is a bit vicious, and it's probably not right. But you know that the PC gaming community are very uh like they don't like to be duped. They don't like to be, you know, taken advantage of and things like that. That's why you like um things like Xbox Live, you know, they debuted that subscription service on Xbox 360, and it was never a thing on PC because that PC gamers would have never let that fly. You know, PC gamers are hardcore, and you know they like things to be black and white. They don't like to be tricked, and you know things like that. So they're traditionalists in a sense, you know. So whenever they do feel disrespected, they are going to be very petty and do things like that, you know, like give bad reviews to games and things like that. Even though those first two Metro games were they used to be reviewed very highly on Steam. But you know, just because of this news, that people want to like they want to clap back at, you know, Koch Media because they feel like this is a bad practice that they're doing. So this is just their way of getting their voices heard. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. You know, because those other games have nothing to do with this situation. I believe they did it on other Deep Silver games too, like not just Metro. So that's pretty unfair because those games have nothing to do with this. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can't do things like that to the hardcore PC gamers. You know, like this would be like CD Projekt just coming out and being like, "Oh, we're only making console games now." Like, you know, there would be a huge uproar from the PC community because, like, the PC community made CD Projekt what they are. Like we championed, CD Projekt. So this is it's along those lines. Like you can't do that to the PC community. We take things like that very seriously. So
Oh, absolutely, without question. As it definitely should be taken seriously. I also would say. Um, so now the question I wanted to shift to and ask is obviously we know that this whole thing about somebody going after another developer to get something exclusive as a timed exclusive, we already know that this is something that Microsoft and Sony have been doing a lot of this whole generation and even before that, because we know that Microsoft at one point this generation they had the last Tomb Raider game. I believe it's not Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but the previous one. Maybe it
Rise
was
of the
Rise.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, yeah, they had that as a timed holiday exclusive on Xbox One. And there was a lot of people that was angry about that because they had to wait a whole year for it to come to PS4. On the flip side of that, PlayStation also has these deals with exclusive DLC to PlayStation because the big backlash was with Destiny. Destiny 1 and 2, they had exclusive content coming to Destiny 2, and some of that stuff was you wasn't able to access it on Xbox One at least for a whole year. So both of them have done these type of practices. I do expect this to continue well into next generation, even though I know Microsoft has already said that they're going to try to move away from that practice, or they have tried to give you the impression that they have moved away from that. This is still going to become a thing for both PlayStation and Xbox. So the question I wanted to ask is, because Epic has now done this on the PC front, do you believe that they will continue to do these types of deals moving forward with other high profile games coming out later this year and beyond?
Um, I fully see the situation happening again on the PC front. Now, console, I mean, like you said that to some levels this already happens on consoles with, exclusive content and timed exclusive games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess this is such a big deal because we've never really seen those kind of practices on PC. It's like with PC, it's either the game comes out or it doesn't. That's really the main thing that's been happening with PC. So this is like the first time we're seeing this exclusive, timed exclusive kind of war between these different clients and stuff, and that's what's upsetting people. And I fully expect this to continue because you have a lot of people now trying to overthrow Steam's stronghold on video game purchases on PC. Um, so yeah, I think this is going to continue. I think it's gonna be with more publishers than just Deep Silver. Like this is going to happen a lot. I think because you already have you have a lot. You have Origin, you have UPlay, you have the Bethesda client, you have Epic now, you have Discord, you have Steam, and also the Windows Store. So this is going to be a thing now on PC for sure. Um, and I know I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, EA does this all the time with their games because you can only get them on Origin." Here's the thing, like it's a bit different because EA, like they make their own games, so of course they're gonna lock their games to their own client. It just makes sense. Valve does the same thing. The thing is with Metro is it's a third party title. It's not made by Epic. It's not made by Valve. So we expect it to be available on the biggest platform on PC where you buy games. That's just what like people always expect games to be available on Steam. So this is why it's a big issue because people just aren't used to this on PC. Um, so and this is going to continue. It's going to happen again and again because I believe this is Epic's strategy now. Their strategy is to approach video game publishers and say, "Look, you'll make more money publishing your games on our platform." And a lot of publishers are going to fall for that. Like they are going to go with that because who doesn't want to make more money? Who doesn't want a higher profit margin when they're publishing their games? So um, that is going to happen. this is gonna be a thing.
That it's funny you mentioned that because that actually was going to be the final thing that I was going to ask you. If you think that now Steam may consider over time, if this continues, changing the margins of which they offer devs, because I think that when I saw how much that the Epic Games is offering in terms of how much they're taking away, very little compared to Steam. So from a business standpoint, I definitely would say, you know what, yeah, I do want to do that deal so I can give the devs more money. So, do you think that this is going to force Epic to maybe reconsider how much I'm going to say Steam to reconsider how much they're offering devs in return for putting the game on the platform.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's gonna happen. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Like this incident right here, this might not be big enough for them to want to change their royalty margins and stuff. But eventually it's gonna happen because both Discord and Epic are very vocal right now about you know, giving publishers good royalty deals and stuff. And like from a business standpoint, like I actually think Epic are willing to give people, you know, even better deals than what's advertised if they put their games on their platform. So, for example, with Metro, they probably gave them an even better deal than the one we saw. What was it like 20 I forgot what it was. Was it 15% or something? 10%? I don't know. It was something crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they
I think.
change. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think it's right around 18%, and compared to Steam, which is like at 30, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
18%. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, for certain publishers who are publishing big games, I wouldn't be surprised if Epic goes to them and they're like, look, you know, we can give you 10%. You know, we'll take just 10% off of every sale. That's it. You know. So yeah, like I think Valve is going to have to compete at some point. Like it might not be today, might not be tomorrow, might not be this year, but now that the game has started, like this competition, they are gonna have to change eventually at some point, unless Valve starts putting out more of their own original content, like
Hmm.
that people, because that might make people want to stay with Steam regardless, and they, you know, they might continue to make money regardless, so it might not
You
matter
know,
to them that much. But
you know
go ahead.
that that's exactly what I was thinking. Because I know that they have already come out and said that they're going to start making games again. Obviously, I don't know if that means we're ever going to get another Left 4 Dead or Half Life. I think Half Life is a very very long shot of ever happening. Left 4 Dead seems more possible, but yeah, and of course, if they decide to bring back Portal or they decide to do another new franchise, they 100% could do that, and I do think that that is something that they can offer that will make them a lot of people come back to the platform. But again, it has to be a title that people really, 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 really want to see and will come back for. So if it is Half Life, I think there's a lot of people that might still be interested in that. But I mean, it has to be a game that I think is going to really get people interested in coming over and actually picking up that game in particular for the sales. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm curious to see. I mean, I don't believe that this is the only deal that Epic has done or will do this year. I would be very curious to see what would happen if they were to make this particular offer to CD Projekt Red, because we all know that Cyberpunk 2077 is possibly going to come out this year. I'm curious if CD Projekt Red would consider this offer, even though I know they said they want to make the fans happy, they want to please everybody, so they may decline it. But again, it all depends. I mean,
The thing is with CD Projekt, they have their own client as well. I forgot to mention them. They actually have
yeah, they do. You're right.
they have
Yes.
good old games. So I don't know if they would do that. But I mean, maybe because the thing is with this client stuff, like you could still like CD Projekt could still release their game on both Steam and Epic Store as well as their
Yeah.
own. You know, so I don't think they would do an exclusive deal if they have their own client, but they probably would still release their game on Epic though, like even though it's available on their own. So who knows?
Hmm. We have to see about that. Yeah, yeah, but I will say, we definitely can confirm. We do know for sure that this is not the last time that Epic will have some type of deal. They're going to definitely have some other stuff coming this later this year. I just don't know what game. And part of the fun for me is to figure out and see what the game actually does end up becoming. The game or games end up becoming that'll once again become something that everybody's talking about. But the Metro Exodus game, regardless of what anybody says, that is a big deal because I do remember the reaction that game got when it was first revealed at E3, and people were like, "Wow, that looks phenomenal! I can't wait to pick that game up." So yeah, we'll see what happens. In terms of the long term effects of the franchise. Obviously, this news doesn't impact me personally because I'm going to get the game on console, but I absolutely 100% feel for those who purchased on PC and now if they may not want to go through the Epic Games Store. I fully understand and sympathize with them, because yeah, it's just unfortunate, but this is not going to be the last game impacted by this type of a deal. We know that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. All the big third party games, I wouldn't be surprised if Epic, tries to strike a deal with the publishers. So it's definitely gonna happen again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I do have to applaud them from a business standpoint, even though we can say that the move was underhanded. I have to applaud them for making these deals in order to give the devs more money. To get because again, a lot of it's very expensive to make all these games. So any way that you can see a way to give the company more money, that's great. I just hope that the people who actually worked on the game are the ones that are going to see these bonuses and not the stakeholders involved. Because if it's all going to the stakeholders, then I say that's horrible. But yeah, the people who are actually creating the games, they need to be getting more of this money anyway. So hopefully that is what's going to happen, even though I'm sure that won't happen in every case. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Indeed.
So, any final things you want to say on this topic or any other topics before we get ready to wrap up today's show?
Nah. I think we wrapped that topic up nicely. So
Awesome, awesome. All right, so definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in uh, for today's show. A few quick things to mention. We are going to be doing a giveaway this week on the website, so I would encourage everybody to make sure that you're checking out the website. There is going to be other content posted up throughout the week, but in terms of the giveaway, there is going to be a game giveaway announcement coming very soon. It could come as soon as tomorrow, even. So I would definitely encourage you all to check out the website. As I mentioned earlier, there are a ton of games coming out this month. Not really 100% sure which game we're going to do a giveaway for yet because there are a lot of different audiences that love a lot of different titles. Although I have a good idea as to what this giveaway is going to be. So just stay tuned this week for an announcement on that, and you will have a chance to enter for a chance to win. So look for that. Also, want to give a quick shout out to everybody on the staff. Obviously, want to give a special shout out to Mr. Jake Davis Lugo because he has done a ton of stuff that's currently on the website right now. He did review Kingdom Hearts 3. So I would definitely encourage you to check out that review. I know that game came out this past week. It has been getting good reviews all across the board. So if you are interested in checking out the game, I would encourage you to check out his review, um, as well as all the other stuff that's been getting posted up on the website. I know I did a review for The Walking Dead episode 3, Broken Toys. Really good episode. I would encourage you to check that out as well if you maybe were skeptical about how they were going to end The Walking Dead. That episode 3 is very interesting things that happened in that episode, and also something that I think a lot of people have been asking for ever since we saw what happened at the end of The Walking Dead season 1. There are some memorable moments that happen in that episode that I think you will definitely enjoy it if you actually get a chance to play it. So check it out and check out my review if you have any time. We do have a lot of other reviews coming and other content of things we're working on. So stay tuned because it's going to be a very busy for us month for us here at the Koalition. So stay tuned for a whole bunch of things. But we appreciate your continued support always. And Gary, the floor is now yours for the shout outs.
Yep. So big shouts to the Patreon people: M. Collins, Mauricio Aguilar, Himdil, Fergus Mills, who was in the chat today, Miguel, Antonio Rogers, and Sean Gority. We thank you all for your continued support of the coalition. Look out for the giveaways and look out for, the bonus content coming in the future. So big shouts to those guys, and shouts to everyone who joined us in the YouTube chat today as well. Um, and I want to also give a shout to Melanin Gamers. Go to twitter.com/Melanin Gamers or twitch.tv/Melanin Gamers. They're good friends of mine, so shouts to them, and also the whole coalition staff. JJ, Tatiana, Dana, Tony. Kels, Kennedy, Rams, Carl, Ed. Everyone who's a part of this coalition thing, and of course you, Rich, as well. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. So once again, we thank you for all your continued support. We have a lot of great things in the works, so stay tuned. Hope that you all have a great week. If you're going out, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl tonight, have fun. But yeah, aside from that, have a great week, and we will talk to you all next weekend.
Indeed. Peace out.
Peace.